Shannon Miller has 5 Olympic medals. And Dominique Dawes won all 5 events at last year's Nationals. But both these stars lost the all-around title to the 13-year-old darling Dominique Moceanu at this year's National Championships. At her first Nationals, she won 3 medals. Is this kid for real? Coach Bella Caroli thinks so. And we'll find out exactly how real she might be as we go to the Frank Irwin Center in Austin, Texas for the McDonald's World Team Trials of Gymnastics. Let's take a look at our scoreboard as the athletes enter the optional rounds. After the compulsories, Dominique Moceanu is our current leader on a quest for that World Team berth, just ahead of Shannon Miller and Dominique Dawes, both of them one-time national all-around champions. So we join the action on the floor. It's the first of 4 rotations, and it's the vault of Shannon Miller, an event that she did win at the U.S. Nationals, though she did not win the all-around. She did win this. She's going to have 2 vaults. The best score was the one she'll carry with her.
The gold medal she won at the national championships was the only one of the meet for Shannon Miller after a disappointing second-place finish in the all-around to Dominique Moceanu. She will be performing 2 different vaults from 2 different vault families, and there's a reason for that. The United States is trying to encourage the gymnast to perform 2 different vaults, so she will earn an extra 10th of bonus, which will be placed on the final score of the best vault.
It's the same concentrated look we've grown accustomed to. 5 Olympic medals at the Barcelona Games, 2 silvers, 3 bronzes. The first American woman to defend successfully her World Championship all-around title. The most highly decorated woman gymnast in American history.
She has accomplished almost everything in the sport of gymnastics, but when I mentioned that to Steve Nuno, who said, well, not everything. We haven't won an Olympic gold, and that's something she's really setting her sights on.
Shannon Miller, out of Edmond, Oklahoma, trains at the Dynamo Gymnastics program. Steve Nuno, of course, her coach. You might be hearing him throughout the broadcast as he's wearing a wireless mic.
And her first vault, the round-off entry, half layout front, a big step on the landing. That vault is called a Yurchenko-style vault.
Beautiful vault, except for that one step. You gotta watch that hollow. I'm gonna pull this mat. I want to see a good, strong block on that Souk, okay? We're gonna make this vault, the Souk vaults, we're gonna make that count. That's just for the score, so I want to make this vault count. You're gonna have to have a stronger run, okay? Strong run, now pop it, Shannon, strong run.
We'll take another look at this vault. This is called a Yurchenko half layout front. She does a round-off entry onto the board. And then she does a back handspring onto the vault. She gets a nice push off of the horse, a half twist to an immediate layout. Nice body position, a tiny little pike. Very difficult to land because your feet hit the ground before you get a chance to see it, which is why she took the big step. And this is an overhead view of this. Back handspring on, nice push, good body position, tight legs, opened up a little too early and had to take a big step on the landing.
Now, before we deliver to you her score on the first vault, we'll watch her second vault.
Now, this vault is a half-on entry, but the after flight is the exact same action. She does a half-on, half-twist off into an immediate layout front. The vault she just performed was only valued at a 9.9, so that's the maximum score she could achieve. This vault, however, is worth a perfect 10.
What in the world?
Throughout the broadcast, you'll be hearing a lot of crowd noise.
Lock it up now.
9 points.
Strong run. Pop it up there.
7-1-2, the mark for her first vault.
She has an opportunity to score higher on the second vault because of the maximum value. And remember, because they're 2 different vaults from 2 different vault families, if she gets a higher score, she too will get an extra 10th on that score. Here it comes, half layout front. Same problem on the dismount and a little bit of a difficulty. She was having problems in warm-up standing that up.
She makes a quick, hasty retreat, if you will. Steve Nuno right there for immediate feedback.
Okay.
He seems to be always right by her side when she comes off the apparatus.
Have to pick it up next 2 events, okay? All right, let's go. All right, all right.
Now she has to mentally prepare for her next rotation. In the meantime, we'll watch our defending national champion Dominique Moceanu at one of the more glamorous events the uneven parallel bars. Dominique turns 14 this month.
She is an amazing athlete, and what a competitor for just 13 years old. She is incredibly impressive. Her bar routine just bursts with explosive energy. It's kind of like her personality, too. She's just all sparkle.
Dominique Moceanu. You got to be right up on top. You don't have the flexibility, okay?
You'll be watching for her monster release moves, just high, caught way out, away from the bar. Incredible. Lots of swing as well. Comes a transition from low bar to high bar. Pashnikova right to the handstand there on that overshoot.
Good. All the way.
You can hear Bella Caroli in the background. Here comes her first release move, a Ginger. Look how far away she caught that. That's exactly what the judges want to see. She has another big release move coming up. It's called a Tkachev, and there it is. A little flexed feet. Little form difficulty, not a big deal. And watch this dismount, a double layout, 2 flips backwards in a completely straight position, and she nailed that landing, John.
Oh, wow. I see you are in the hand today, huh? Oh, wow. Well, that's how you're supposed to do it.
She certainly has a knack for making gymnastics look effortless.
She said she's in her hand today.
This is another look at her Tkachev. It's also called the reverse heck. Timing is everything. She gets lots of height, a little flex feet, but not a big deal, as I said.
On vault.
This routine is total swing. And this is what she's famous for. Double layout, stick straight body position. And here comes the landing. Boom, she nailed it.
Should mention the score for Shannon Miller's second vault was not as high as its first, but because it was different, she gets the 1/10 point bonus for a 9.812 for Shannon Miller in the vault event. We await Dominique Moceanu's score as we await the next competitor on that apparatus. And I think Bella Caroli's got a handful in her. A potential
certainly does.
heart stealer she is.
She is legitimate. She went from being the junior national champion in '94 to the senior national champion in '95. Usually there's a bit more of a transitional period when you make that jump to the senior division.
I wonder what she's thinking about. And Bella Caroli, who developed Nadia Comaneci, Mary Lou Retton, Kim Zmeskal. Could he be doing it again?
His announcement after the '92 Olympics was obviously not for real, but he's back in gymnastics with a new belle of the ball.
Moceanu needs a 9.65 to remain in the lead. Carrie Strug is the next athlete on that apparatus, an 18-year-old. She was the youngest member of the U.S. women's gymnastics team at the Olympics in Barcelona. Now training in Colorado Springs, a straight-A student.
Carrie has been at many gyms throughout the country. She's trained at Caroli's. She's trained with Steve Nuno. And now I think this is more of a perfect fit for her. She seems to be enjoying herself. She's with a lot of new up-and-comers at the Colorado Aerials. And she is a true veteran. Tons of international experience. She's been on 4 world championship teams. She was the youngest member of the '92 Olympic team. She's in a very good position to make it to this World Championships.
At the U.S. Nationals just a few weeks back, she finished 5th in the all-around. Certainly placing her in one of the favored positions to make the World Championship team. She earned a bronze medal in this event, the uneven bars.
Her coach there getting her ready, Tom Forster of Tom and Lori Forster, the married husband and wife coaching team.
Judges still trying to calculate the total value for Dominique Moceanu's bar routine. And the numbers coming in now. At the Olympic level, this is like a 4-ring circus. Today we only have 2 rings. Moceanu's routine earned a 9.9 start value.
Which means that that's the maximum value she can score. The gymnasts have to do a certain amount of special requirements. They actually start the routines, if they have all the requirements, at a 9.4. So it's up to them to increase the value by doing certain elements and combinations to maximize their value to the optimal 10.0. And she obviously didn't get credit for something there, so she only started at a 9.9.
9.687, the score for Moceanu on bars.
Score for Dominique Moceanu on
And so
uneven
now,
bars,
after a long wait,
9.687.
Carrie Strug gets a chance to
We are now ready for
mount the
our next
apparatus
athlete from
here in the
Colorado
first
area,
rotation of the
coached by
optional
Tom and Lori
round.
Forster.
And
Carrie
here's the routine.
Strug.
Carrie has a really nice form, and she recently implemented a new release move. Here it is. It's a piked Jaeger. Very nicely done. Her legs were nice and tight together. That is an E element, the most difficult skill you can do in gymnastics. Here's pirouette move. And her second release move, a Tkachev. It's a requirement to have 2 release skills in your optional bar routine. And here comes her dismount, a full out, a twist on the second somersault. Oh, she pulled that out a little. It's kind of a fake, but we'll see what the judges think.
Well, we'll see if that Olympic experience helps Carrie Strug from the judges' point of view. Hi, everybody. I'm John Neighbor. Welcome to this competition, along with me, Mara Driscoll. This event signals the conclusion of the selection process for the World Team Championship squad heading over to Japan later in the month. And Mara, why is it so important for the athletes to perform well here before the games in Japan?
Well, John, this meet represents one of the first crucial steps on the road to the Olympic Games. Though making the World Championship team does not guarantee you a spot on the Olympic team, history has proven that there is a direct correlation. Tonight, the U.S. team that's selected will hopefully go on to uphold their silver medal finish from last year's World Championships, ultimately setting the Americans up for an equal or maybe even a better place finish at the Olympic Games in Atlanta.
Tell us a bit more about the headliners in tonight's meet.
Well, as you saw, the U.S. has a new gymnastics darling, and at 13 years old, Dominique Moceanu happens to be the youngest U.S. champion ever. She captured the title recently while making her debut in the senior ranks of the sport. She has all the elements of a champion. She performs with spunk and personality, and there's one more thing that's been helping her campaign just a little bit. You'll notice she bears a striking resemblance to Olympic champion Nadia Comaneci. We'll also get a chance to see 2-time world champion Shannon Miller, who had a disappointing second-place finish at the Nationals. She'll want to avenge her loss from that meet. Another veteran and 92 Olympian who led the U.S. to a team silver medal at last year's Worlds, Dominique Dawes. She's been struggling with some injuries to her wrist and ankle, but she has proven her toughness time and time again.
Now, these athletes have earned their spots to compete here at the most recent U.S. Nationals. Finishing third at that meet was J.C. Phelps, but she's been injured since and has successfully petitioned to have the scores from that meet count here towards a possible world team berth. Now, we'll be watching to see whether or not those scores will hold up. Our own world champion, Kurt Thomas, is on the deck side, and he's got more.
John, I'm with JC's coach, Mary Lee Tracy. Mary Lee, what happened?
Well, we came in healthy, and we started warming up and training, and just we're doing some tumbling, and JC said her knee kind of hurt, and she went to do another tumbling pass, and she felt like she needed to stop, and so we went straight to the trainer, and he did all the tests and felt like everything was stable, and it began to swell, and so there's just some swelling going on that we're a little uncomfortable with, and so she's right now getting an MRI just to make sure that it's hopefully just a small little injury in her knee.
But you think she'll be healthy for Worlds?
I think so. I can't say for sure until after tonight, but I have a lot of optimism that they've given me optimism to believe that she's going to be okay and ready to train in a couple days.
We hope so. All right, back to John.
I should point out Carrie Strug's mark of a 9.775 on the bars, the highest score so far, better even than Dominique Moceanu. We'll be back. The 1995 McDonald's World Team Trials is being brought to you by McDonald's, the official break of the Olympic Games. And by York Heating and Air Conditioning and your local York dealer, the doctor of home comfort. Welcome back to more of the McDonald's World Team Trials on the University of Texas campus in Austin. Earlier in this first rotation, some great action, but let's first tell you a little bit about the fact that many of these athletes qualified to be here on the basis of their results at the Coca-Cola National Championships a few weeks ago. Dominique Moceanu winning the all-around title there, but it's the athletes in the 5th, 6th, and 7th spot that are trying to make the World Championship team. And Mara, the selection process is pretty complicated.
It certainly is. The gymnasts will be taking 30% of their all-around score from the U.S. Championships, combined with 70% of their all-around score from this competition to qualify the top 7 scores. This is an effort at not only picking the best gymnasts, but also the most consistent over these 2 very important competitions.
Now, some of the athletes who are, quote, on the bubble, Amy Chow, Donnie Thompson, and Mary Beth Arnold, are sitting there very close together in their scores after the compulsories here in Austin, Texas. And just moments ago, Donnie Thompson turned in a great uneven bar routine.
Donnie Thompson is one of 10 athletes who were competing in the junior division last year, and they're making the switch to the senior division, so the senior division has a totally new look this year. She is very impressive on this event. Beautiful form, excellent toe point, her legs never come apart. There's her first release move, a Tkachev, beautifully done. Donnie had a lot of difficulty during the warm-ups. She's having some problems with her back, some stiffness in her lower back. Her second release move, a Tkachev again, in the opposite direction. And watch for her dismount, a double layout to a very good landing, a little step, just a small deduction there. A very nice routine, especially since she really had a pained expression on her face during the warm-ups.
And you saw the 9.737 was the score for Donnie Thompson. As we return now to the action as it occurs, Amy Chow, also one of those on the bubble, is getting ready for her vault event. 17-year-old, a senior at Castellea School with a 4.0 grade average.
Amy was on last year's silver medal winning world championship team. Here's her first vault, a Yurchenko half layout front, very nicely done. She was having difficulty with that in warm-ups also, but she did a very nice job. Amy will be taking advantage of that same rule where she'll do 2 different vaults from 2 different vault families, thus earning a 10th of bonus on the highest vault. Round off entry, watch her push off the horse. We're looking for height and distance. She opens it up, takes a little hop on the landing, actually a pretty good hop on the landing, but a very nice vault. She got a lot of distance, and those are the things that the judges are looking for: height off of the horse and distance away from the horse.
As Amy Chow makes her way to the front of the runway, I should point out that one of the athletes in her rotation, Katie Teft, during the warm-up accidentally missed her grip on the vaulting horse, injured herself, and is now, although she does have feeling, she did feel something that was certainly wrong, and so they're taking her to the hospital for observation. Katie Teft will withdraw from the contest here after finishing 9th in the all-around at the U.S. Nationals earlier the year. Amy Chow getting ready for her second vault.
This vault is a handspring entry, handspring front pike with a half twist. The vault is only valued at a 9.9, as was her first vault.
9.737 the score for that first vault.
It's a very good score. Here she goes. She actually tucked it, so that's worth less. It's only worth a 9.8, but I think she'll probably keep the score of the first vault, especially after the 10th is added.
Okay, we're going to warm up all 5.
Take another look at it here. She does a handspring on. She separates her legs. Kind of sloppy in the air, not a very tight tuck. Not a very good vault for her. From this angle, you can see her leg separation very well. She tucks early and she twists in the air. And a big hop on the landing.
Well, we'll bring you her score on the second vault and her score overall when we return for more action. It's going to be here at the McDonald's World Team Trials in just a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back to more of the McDonald's World Team Trials. John Neighbor, Mara Driscoll, and Kurt Thomas here at the Frank Irwin Center in Austin, Texas. As you saw, Shannon Miller getting some last-minute comments from her coach as she gets ready for her apparatus. As we take a look at our standings after the first rotation, Shannon Miller currently in second, J.C. Phelps in the third place as a result of her score at the U.S. Nationals. Here's Shannon.
And the first thing we're going to look for here is her signature move. It's called the Miller. And here it comes. It's a giant full pirouette, but she hops it around completely into an immediate release move, a Ginger. She caught that pretty close to the bar. Notice she had to bend her arms. It's another full pirouette. And her second release move, a Tkachev. Shannon gives very little away in terms of deductions. She doesn't have any form breaks typically.
Yes.
And her dismount, she's working a full out, but that's a full in, back out to a perfect landing. The only problem I saw with that routine was the release move was caught a little closer than she normally does.
We'll take this opportunity to point out that Amy Chow's vault score on her second attempt was lower than her first, so she did in fact earn the 9.837 when you add the bonus on the vault.
Okay? All right, good handstands at the end.
And as we go back to the vault now in the second rotation, Dominique Moceanu getting ready, the youngest senior national champion ever.
Watch this little wonder explode into the air. This is Yurchenko, 1.5. Excellent push, lots of distance, and a great landing, and you can hear Bella in the background.
That was a good one. But we can do better than this. We can do better than this. Just a little more hollow here, okay? Yeah. The speed.
He wants her
Don't forget the second part too. All right? One more time.
He wants her to anticipate the landing a little bit better. Here's her round off. She is so powerful. Watch for her push off of the horse right there. Up, so much height, so much distance, great body position, straight, and a little hop on the landing, but what a vault. So look at it from this angle. She does a back handspring, so much height. Excellent. That vault is so difficult to land because it's completely blind, the landing. Again, the floor comes before you actually get a chance to see it. And you can see this. She doesn't get to see the floor until it's at her feet.
Well, she certainly finishes with a flare. She hustles herself back to the start of the runway, awaiting the scores for the first vault before attempting her second.
That vault is valued at a perfect 10-0.
And a 9.925 to start, and if she does a different vault, she gets the 10-point bonus. She's going to get more than 10.
But no, she will perform the same vault since it is a 10-0. She really doesn't need that.
9.837
You're now ready for the second
for
vault
Shannon Miller on the uneven bars.
Now she is going to be focusing on the landing here. And a better landing. That was an incredible vault.
Is it possible she can score higher than the 9.925 we just saw?
Anything is possible. I believe so. Didn't look like she got as much distance on that vault from this angle.
What a smile.
Let's take another look at it from overhead. And a closer look. Watch for her push off of the horse. Tight, straight, pencil straight body position. That was a beautiful vault. I think that was a better vault.
Shannon Miller just received her mark, 9.837 for the bars. And the woman who defeated Shannon Miller last year at the National Championships, Dominique Dawes, is the next competitor on the bars out of Silver Springs, Maryland. Awesome Dawson. Won 5 gold medals at last year's National Championships. First time that's happened in a very long while. Sullivan Award finalist in '94.
It's very important to realize that she has a wrist injury, a stress fracture in her wrist, and on this event, it's very painful for her. Here's her release move. So much height. Same thing. She kind of got a little closer than normal. She's been consistently adding more difficulty on this event. Very consistent performer. Nice uprise to handstand, and her dismount is a full out. The full is on the second somersault, which makes it more difficult. Come on. That looks like a full in this time. From this angle, a full in is worth a D, whereas a full out is worth an E, and you get 2/10 of extra bonus for that.
While Dominique awaits her score, I can point out that Moceanu's mark, a 9.962 on the second vault, a great one.
And nope, it was a full out. From this angle, clear to see she did the twist on the second somersault. Another angle for her dismount. She does the first flip, and then on the second flip, she twists it, which makes it more difficult. That was a beautiful routine.
We continue our competition on
Back to the vault. Carrie Strug. We saw her do well in the uneven bars earlier with a good routine. Here she comes, her first attempt.
The round-off entry, half lay out front. What a vault. That was beautiful. Excellent body position and a great landing. Good strong run. Round off, watch for her push off the horse, and her straight body position anticipates the landing and stands it up well. This is very difficult to land because it's a blind move. This vault is valued at a 9.9. It was recently devalued. It used to be a 10. Excellent job.
Moceanu, interestingly enough, on her second vault was in fact better than her first. In fact, one of the judges even gave it a perfect 10. But her final score there is going to be a 9.962, almost flawless. And Strug has chosen to do just the one vault, accepting that perfect landing and the score that it will produce. We'll be back with more in just a moment. We're back now with more of rotation number 2 of the optionals in the World Gymnastics Championship trials. Donnie Thompson, we saw her over on the bars do well. Here comes her attempt in the vault. Carrie Strug earned a 9.85 on her first vault and chose not to bother with the second. Is taking that score.
She will be doing 2 different vaults. A handspring front, not very high valued vault. It's only worth a 9.7. Again, she's having stiffness in her lower back. A lot of discomfort that she's suffering right now. This is not her normal vault. I think that she's just making amends because of her physical condition. Handspring on, a good push off the horse, a little bit close to the horse, a little bit more distance, but a pretty good vault. Again, the maximum value she could score is a 9.7, so that's the problem with this vault. That's called the pre-flight. Good heel drive, nice push off of the horse, but not too much distance. She will only take one vault to basically save her body because her back is really hurting her.
I've got to ask, though, for the last 2 gymnasts only doing one vault, do you think the Katie Teft incident earlier tonight might have had something to do with this?
I don't think that it does, really. I think this is a unique situation because these 2 gymnasts are injured. For Carrie Strug, there was no need for her to take another vault. That was a 9.9 value vault. She scored a 9.85.
Great marks indeed. So we go over to the uneven bars. We're getting ready for Amy Chow. I should let you know that Dominique Dawes' bar routine earned her a 9.775. And Amy Chow, we said, is on the bubble. Probably going to move up a little bit here. Let's see what she does on the most dynamic.
Wait till you see what she pulls out of her bag of tricks on this event. She is known as the trickster in the sport of gymnastics. She takes so many risks in all of her routines. She's really incredibly talented. But with risk sometimes comes inconsistency, and I think becoming a consistent gymnast is Amy's toughest trick so far.
Donnie Thompson, 9.462, the score for her on the vault.
Remember, that vault was only worth a 9.7. Last year, Amy finished 5th all around at this competition, going on to the World Championships in Dortmund, Germany. She's on the bubble this year because she had some problems at the national championships on her optional beam routine. And so this meet is even more important for her. There's more pressure on her to do well so that she can remain among the top 7 and go on to the World Championships in Sabai, Japan.
One of the many things that impresses me about Amy Chow, in addition to all the time she has to spend in the gym to be this good on a national level, she also spends enough time sitting at the keyboard. She is a piano prodigy, has played concerts and recitals, even competitions. And in addition to that, she spends some of her summer months clowning around on the diving board. So all around, in addition to the 4.0 grade average she has at school, just an everything child.
And she's really incredibly modest. One of her teachers says she doesn't think she's very special at all. She's just like one of the kids. There's a front stalder to appear with another immediate front stalder to a back stalder, which is unbelievable. Obviously, she's very comfortable in that stalder position. There's her first release move, a pike Jaeger, an E element. And this is the biggest part of her routine. She does a double dismount, 2 twists, 2 flips, and an excellent landing. She normally lands very low with her chest, and that was much better than earlier today in warm-ups. And that's a big smile from Amy Chow. That routine is packed with difficulty. I mentioned that she gymnasts need to have 2 release moves. This actually counts as a release move. And here is her piked Jaeger. Very nicely done. A little separation of the legs there into an immediate pack salto, another release. This routine is jam-packed with difficulty, and her dismount, get a load of this. She's going to do 2 flips, 2 twists. There's a lot of stuff happening there. A little bit low with her chest on the landing, but not a big deduction at all.
Right, honey.
Remarkable performance from a remarkable young lady, just 17 years of age, hails from San Jose, California. I'm sure we'll be hearing a lot more about Amy Chow. With that performance, that takes Amy Chow halfway through tonight's optionals competition. We'll be back with standings and scores as action continues here from Austin, Texas. Welcome back to the McDonald's World Team Trials of Gymnastics as we select a squad to represent the U.S. at the World Championships in Japan later this year. We're halfway through the optional competition. Amy Chow, by the way, earned a 9.837 on her uneven bars as we look at one of perhaps the most charismatic characters in gymnastics. The bear of a coach from Romania, now a transplanted Texan. Bela Karolyi was a fascinating study as he announced his retirement from the sport after the Barcelona Olympics, but something brought him back. Let's learn more about this gymnastics legend.
When you think of women's gymnastics, you think of Bela Karolyi. With the success of Komanic, Retton, and Zimiskal, only the disappointment of 1992 could send Bela packing.
Well, the retirement happened in '92. It's not actually the results of '92, but it was a growing frustration in my heart. The way how the whole '92 selection was done, the way how they mishandled the great otherwise rivalry between Shannon at that time and Kim Zimiskal. And also the outcome, the way how was the selection done, wasn't done the right way. And that gave me a lot of frustration. Of course, you know, my greatest frustration was watching my own athletes so frustrated and so much hurting. And with their frustration, I went to the point to say, yes, probably that's the end of my high-performance coaching career.
Bela's back with that same drive and enthusiasm that served him well in years past. Back with a mix of youth and maturity, he now begins his quest for the 1996 Olympic Games in Atlanta.
And that was when Kim Zimiskal decided after that very, very spectacular and also controversial Winter Olympic Games, not that Tanya Harding was the one who determined her to come back, but the great performance of the older girls. And Katarina Witt, the one who was so much visible, and her performance was so full with dignity, with grace, with maturity, I believe inspired very, very much our older generation of gymnasts, among them Kim Zimiskal.
Although he came out of retirement with the more mature athlete in mind, it's the young prodigy that has everyone talking.
Dominique is a young person. I wish we could keep her as enjoying the sport more on the childish and more youthful, enthusiastic way rather than the hard, competitive way. I hope she will still have the energy to grow into an even more difficult stage, performing even more difficulties on the floor, because that's going to be a very, very necessary ingredient in the future.
Do you need total control of these athletes in order to make them successful?
The control is in this country is not the way like we used to have back in old times.
True or false, you don't allow them to cry?
To cry? No, that's a human emotion that can come out anytime in any momentum.
True or false, are these kids, do you call your kids names?
No.
No. True or false, are these kids on strict diets and are monitored daily?
I wish, you know, they would have a better monitoring system, but as long as they stay with the parents, there is absolutely no restricted diet.
Flat out, are you softening up?
I don't believe, you know, many times, you know, the expression came back, you know, you mellowed down, you softening up, or you that sturdy and and very, very specific individual like you've been running your workouts before. No, I don't believe there's any change on that one.
Bella's peers see a difference in him, as well as a positive new direction for women's gymnastics.
I can't speak for Bella, but I have seen a change in him over the years and adapting to the American system. I think the American system has adapted, and we've all changed over the years to the things that we need to do in gymnastics as the sport has progressed.
Well, I think you can see it's changed because we have more older athletes than ever before, and I think Bella just got a nice hot little kid at the right time, and I don't think he was out looking for her. I think she was just there, but I think if he still had older kids, he would be pushing, like he is with Kim, he's pushing her to a point. But I think the sport now is more allowing the older kids than ever before.
With Bella Caroli's return to gymnastics, you can rest assured the U.S. team will fare well internationally. John?
Thanks a lot, Kurt Mara. Let me ask you, should more American coaches be copying Bella's style in order to get the same results?
Actually, I think that different coaching styles work for different athletes, but you have to wonder what the world would be like in gymnastics if there were two Bella Carolis. The interesting thing is, I know that the United States Gymnastics is certainly glad he's back coaching, and not without a new rising star.
It'll be interesting to see how his athletes continue to do. When we return, it's rotation number 3. Athletes on the floor exercise and the balance beam. Stay with us. We're back at the Frank Irwin Center for more of the 1995 McDonald's World Team Trials. John Neighbor along with Mara Driscoll and Kurt Thomas as we watch the women competing for 7 spots at the World Championship Team competition in Japan. As we take a look at our standings with 2 rotations remaining, Moceanu still leads Shannon Miller. J.C. Phelps, on the basis of her scores from the U.S. Nationals alone, has moved ahead of Dominique Dawes. Now Dawes wanting to get into one of those top 3 spots.
First competitor on women's floor
If there were ever an
exercise
opportunity for her to do it, it is on this event. This is where she earned the nickname Awesome Dawson. Get ready to watch her first tumbling pass. It's what made her famous. It's an elongated tumbling pass. It just keeps going. Not done yet. I've never seen her miss that. That is a 5/10 deduction, very rare, but it's important to remember she's injured, her ankle, her wrist. She's dealing with these nagging injuries.
Dominique earned her first perfect 10 in the floor exercise in the dual meet against Japan. Big landing.
Very nice second tumbling pass, full in the pike position. Part of Dominique's routine. She actually considered scratching from this event at the National Championships during the finals competition, but decided to compete and then came away with the gold medal. Her 3rd total, her 2nd in a row. Last tumbling pass, 2.5 twist. She does look a little bit sluggish. A disappointing floor routine for Dominique Dawes. I've never seen her miss that. And a disappointing look on Coach Kelly Hill's face.
So much is expected of you once you turn in a perfect
All right,
10.
good try. Good comeback with the rest of the set. You held your face together, you got back up, and you finished through. It's a nice performance. Still trouble with the block. You feeling it? Because you're twisting from a pike shape. You don't feel it? Don't worry about it. We'll fix it.
We'll get a chance to look at exactly what Kelly Hill was talking about. When she says block, that means push off of the ground. She's saying, here it comes. This is 2 whips into a double full, into an immediate punch front. Very difficult to change directions there. Now, here comes the problem. She does 2.5 twists. Watch her landing. She's a little piked. She doesn't get up enough and sits it down. This is her last tumbling pass. A 2.5 twist. Again, a little sluggish, a little off to the side, but she did recover well with her 2 other tumbling passes after suffering the 5/10 deduction in the fall.
As soon as we get some scores, we will continue.
Dominique went off to the locker room as Kelly Hill awaits the official's score. While we await the score, let's show you a routine that occurred earlier on the balance beam. Donnie Thompson, herself in the running for a spot, currently in 8th place.
Donnie Thompson with a difficult mount, a front on to a beam. She recently captured the U.S. gold on the balance beam. She shared the title with another former junior, Monica Flammer. Here's her tumbling pass. Back handspring, layout, step out, back handspring. Very nice job so far. And a punch front into it. She normally does it into an immediate jump, but she had to recover there. She was a little off, and there's the jump. Donnie works very well on this event. She has good pacing and technique. A double turn that is much more difficult than it looks. It is a D element. Gymnasts earn bonus on this event by doing special connections, combinations, and doing extra D and E elements. In gymnastics, skills are valued on a scale from A to E. A being the most basic element and E being the most difficult. And here's her dismount, 2 back handsprings into a double full. A nice routine, a little bit watered down for her.
And that score for her on the beam, a 9.212. We'll be back with more third rotation action after this. Welcome back as Dominique Dawes completed her floor exercise routine. She's now dressing into her sweats. The score from the judges, a 9.25 when you count the 5/10 deduction for sitting down on the mat. Now on the floor exercise, Amy Chow, the young all-around superstar, piano, academics, all sports. Her mom wanted to start her out in ballet, but they didn't offer it for 3-year-olds, and that's how she found the sport of gymnastics.
On this event, it's no different from any other. She has an incredible amount of difficulty in all of her tumbling passes. First, half in, half out, that was amazing. Very well done. I didn't see her warm that up. Amy has been working on her artistic impression, really dancing to the fullest and being able to express her gymnastics, express her personality through her gymnastics. Here she does a whip through to a triple full. Nice job, very difficult.
A little ballet there.
You notice she looks a little uncomfortable with the whole performance aspect of this.
She's naturally shy off the apparatus.
Absolutely. Her coach, Mark Young, has been working with her since she was about 5 years old. He said to this day, he still only gets about 5 words out of her. Final tumbling run, a front through to a triple full. Didn't quite get it all the way around, but at the end of routine, that says a lot for her stamina.
She's definitely a comer. Finished 5th at the 1994 Nationals, an 18th-place improvement from her performance the year before.
9.387 on floor. And for Mahini Bhardwaj, a 9.587.
Mara, as you once said, the athletes who do well here are very likely to be the nucleus of our Olympic team next year. It would be nice to see her in Atlanta.
That is true, and we're going to take another look at some of her tumbling. This is where her strengths are. Her first tumbling pass, watch this, a half in, half out.
Up next
to a great landing, so much height on that first tumbling pass. That's very difficult to do. The only one in the meet that we'll see. This is her last pass, a front through to a triple twist at the end of the routine. That's 3 twists all the way around. Didn't quite get it all the way around, but a great job.
We'll have Amy Chow's score on the floor exercise when we return for more action in Austin, Texas. Stay with us. Welcome back for more of the World Team Trials in Austin, Texas. The score for Amy Chow's floor exercise routine, a 9.425. And a nice smile from her as well. Dominique Moceanu's next, and I got to tell you, to me, she appears to have the best of many of the sport's top stars. The powerful body of Kim Zmeskal, the graceful face of Nadia Comaneci, the winning personality of Mary Lou Retton. Each of these, by the way, was coached by Bella Caroli, as is she.
There's a new kid on the block. At age 13, she became the youngest ever to win the U.S. National Championships, earning her a ticket to the World Championship Trials. Dominique Moceanu now has a real shot at becoming the next superstar in women's gymnastics.
Our team's one step at a time, and I took each event. And at the end, the floor, I was like, this is great. This is going to be a good event. I'm last, and I can do it. And it was fun because I did it, you know, floor, and it was just all exciting after.
A veteran of 10 years in the gym, Dominique got started early. Camelia, we heard that you contacted Bella when Dominique was 3 years old. Is that true?
When she was very young, my husband called him and told him about Dominique, and he said that we can wait a little bit until she grows older and then we can bring her here. Dimitri was very optimistic, and he always believed that she will do good in gymnastics. And first of all, we made a commitment, like our first child, we put him in gymnastics. If it's a boy or a girl, it doesn't matter.
And what a dynamo developed. Mature beyond her years, Dominique grasped the opportunity when it knocked.
I saw, like, when I was on vaulting, maybe by the corner of my eye, I saw her fall, and I was like, you know, everybody went, woo, or, you know, whoa. And I was like, uh-oh, you know, feel bad for her, but, you know, this is my chance to get ahead, maybe.
And get ahead she did. Following a tremendous floor exercise routine, Dominique Moceanu propelled herself to the front of the pack in the run for Atlanta.
Yeah, okay. Clearly, this young woman is enjoying some early success. Not only the youngest national qualifier, but also the youngest ever to earn a junior national team spot. She did this when she was 10. Right. Coming up, a beam routine, and if her compulsory performance is any indication, we're in for a thrill.
She was amazing last night in the compulsory competition. She has so much talent and incredible confidence on the balance beam, which is very rare for a young athlete. You can see her scores so far on bars and vault, as we reported earlier she needs on this event.
9.75.
Stay ahead of Shannon Miller.
Dominique Moceanu.
She does an interesting shoulder stand mount here. They're fun and interesting. Watch her upper body movements. Precise and exact, very deliberate and confident. This is her flight series. She had some problems at nationals during finals. A little bit out of line there. She let her hip go out of line. Slight deduction. This, of course, is the great equalizer, the balance beam in the sport of gymnastics. Requires so much mental concentration and focus. So punch front, very nicely done. You can get a good look at that 4-inch balance beam from this angle. Marta Caroli coaches her here, and she's very demanding, which is why Dominique is so impressive on this event. No holding back there. A beautiful switch leg side leap. And setting up for her dismount, a round off double tuck.
Yeah.
And a nice landing. A little bit of a hop, but a very nice routine.
Big smile from Bella.
You rushed a little bit at the beginning, Domi. Yeah, but that was ill.
And there's Marta assessing exactly what happened. Let's watch her first tumbling past the acrobatic series. She does a back handspring into 3 consecutive layouts. 1, 2, and 3. She has trouble getting that second foot in and doesn't get as much lift. That's exactly what happened during finals at championships. You see she let her hips get out of the line. Probably a 2/10 deduction there. And her dismount, a round off into a double back, nice height, sees the ground, and lands it a little teeny hop.
At the start of her routine, we mentioned she needs a 9.75 to keep the lead. That's because Shannon Miller turned into a wonderfully elegant floor routine just a few moments ago. Because of the magic of videotape, we can bring it to you now. 3 gold medals this year at the Pan Am Games, and Shannon Miller has lost none of her competitive drive.
She was the '93 world champion on the floor exercise. She recently finished 3rd at the national championships, where she performed this new routine that we'll see here.
And it was elegant, wasn't it?
It was a more sophisticated and mature Shannon Miller. Very classical and pretty. Here comes her first of 4 tumbling passes. A whip back through to a full twisting double back in the pike position. Beautiful landing. And the second tumbling pass, Shannon Miller goes above and beyond here, doing 4 tumbling passes where most other gymnasts are only doing 3. Front handspring, front double full, an E element. The most difficult in gymnastics. She'll take a big breather here for her huge last tumbling pass. She ends this routine with a full in. And there it is. What a performance by Shannon Miller. And a wave to her fans.
And you can hear Steve Nuno. He's thrilled with that routine. And in fact, it was a fantastically well-received routine.
All right. How about those landings?
And the judges gave her a 9.9, a great score for a beautiful floor exercise.
Take a look at her first tumbling pass. She does a whip back through to a full twisting double back in the pike position. Very difficult, a little sloppy in the legs, but she lands it and stands it up very well. Again, she performed 4 tumbling passes, a true testament to her toughness and her physical stamina. This is her last tumbling pass. So difficult to end a routine with a full in. A great job.
Very enthusiastic crowd responded when they saw the official 9.9 from the judges, and that in fact set the scene. Moceanu, remember, needed a 9.75 to keep her lead. The mark's 9.737, so Shannon Miller takes the lead for the first time with 1 rotation remaining. You're looking at Mary Beth Arnold, who had an unfortunate occurrence as she mounted the beam in the 3rd rotation. She began in 7th place, but because she had trouble right out of the chute, she dropped off the beam and off the team, earning an 8.7 for that unfortunate mistake. And so it sets the scene as we enter the final rotation. As we look at our standings, look at the margin. Shannon Miller over Dominique Moceanu by 1/1000th of a point. And Donnie Thompson now in 8th place, just off the team behind her teammate.
Score for Mary Beth Arnold on floor exercise, 9
So now here's Shannon Miller, her final attempt, her final rotation. She is leading the field by 1/1000th, the smallest margin possible. Our leader for the first time in the competition. Her last performance, a balance beam.
This event has been her Achilles heel lately. She missed at the national championships. It cost her the all-around title. She also fell at the American Cup and had some problems at the Pan Am Games. So she is well aware of the risks on this event, and it's extremely important for her at this very moment. She's flowing so nicely. She looks beautiful on the balance beam.
She considers it one of her favorites.
She is the 94 world champion in this event. That was a gainer layout step out, and she kept her back leg up, which is very difficult to do. Here's the element. Here's the flight series she had problems with at Nationals. 3 layouts in a row. She only threw 2 of them. She was supposed to do a 3rd layout. Obviously playing it safe to keep the lead. At least an attempt to keep the lead. Beautiful back handspring forward.
She knows she has to outscore Moceanu's floor routine still to come.
And she's a very smart and confident competitor. Her dismount is a huge full in. Let's see if she throws it. She does. To a perfect landing. A beautiful routine outside of not throwing her last layout.
What might that have cost her in points? Is there a deduction there, lowering the start value?
It's not lowered. I don't believe that it will lower the start value. She doesn't have as much difficulty as backup.
Well, Nuno certainly pleased by that performance.
Super, super. It's that little hesitation on that layout, huh? Other than that, perfect set. Beautiful Miller.
And here's her tumbling pass, back handspring. There's 1 layout and another. It looks like she's off a little to the right. Absolutely, and she didn't want to go for that 3rd layout. And here's her dismount. A full twisting double back. And she nails this landing. Right on.
Clearly, any penalty as a result of not doing the 3rd was worth the price, because she clearly would have fallen had she done the 3rd layout. We'll have the score for Shannon Miller's beam routine when we return. Still to come, Dominique Moceanu on floor.
9.337. Your next competitor on floor.
And a slight smile on the face of Shannon Miller. Her score revealed a 9.912. Remarkable earning on the balance beam, and puts the pressure squarely on the shoulders of the 13-year-old Dominique Moceanu. The lowest score she can get from the judges and still be the top earner here is a 9.925. Now, there is no gold medal awarded at the trials. The best you can get is a ticket to Japan. But that notwithstanding, this young lady wants to leave this meet is the best there is.
That's certainly the truth, and it's going to be very difficult for her to make up that margin on this event. This is actually her weakest event, though one of her favorites. Bella says she needs to upgrade her tumbling and has to improve on this event.
Crowd definitely into this.
Absolutely. She certainly sparkles and has an energy that's captivating.
Looks pretty flawless right here.
She's having a lot of fun. She certainly knows how to pull a crowd in. A beautiful last tumbling run. And the crowd loves it.
Don't let the teams bring it over with your bad message here to go another way.
You know, Bella's fighting for a 10.0. He's arguing it's worth every penny.
That's coming out from here.
She actually upgraded her tumbling. She had 4 tumbling passes. That's something she did not do at the national championships.
He's arguing for her start value, isn't he? Oh, look at that smile.
While we're waiting for the score for Dominique, another one of Bella Caroli's outstanding.
Get a closer look at one of her tumbling passes. This is her middle pass. She does a front full to an immediate front layout and a big bounce. That was actually her 3rd tumbling pass. She did complete 4 tumbling runs. And her last tumbling pass, 2.5 twists to an immediate punch front. She just drops out of the sky.
A quick reminder that we will be having an award ceremony following competition this evening.
As we await the score, Dominique Moceanu is done for the day. Clearly, she's off to Japan next. Did she win another title here? Was she able to retake the lead from Shannon Miller?
John, they made some adjustments in her routine from the national championships, so that could be enough to make the difference.
Very patiently waiting. It's almost as if she doesn't care what the scores are. Clearly, the judges are concerned about the start value, making sure all their calculations are correct. 9.925 will win, or will retake the lead and be the best performance overall after the weighted values of the national scores are totaled. And she does it. She does it. A 9.95. Remarkable. Almost a flawless performance, and good enough to retake the title, the lead here at the World Team Trials. So the young 13-year-old goes past the 5-time Olympic medal winner Shannon Miller in the final rotation. When we return, we'll see who else makes this team. We're back for the final routine in the 4th rotation for Donnie Thompson, who, due to some judging, dropped out of the team in the last rotation. Kulikowski, her teammate, Teresa, is now in 7th place. For Donnie to pass her by, she needs that 9.55 you saw on the screen on the floor exercise to make the World Championship team.
She has been plugging through this competition all night with a back injury. Donnie is a very stylish performer. She has a lot of poise for such a young athlete.
Earned a gold at the Pan Ams this year with the U.S. team.
She says she prays every night about making the Olympic team. A lot of athletes share her dream, but only 7 will be placed on the World Championship team tonight, taking the first steps toward that ultimate goal.
She looks a lot like Amanda Borden, one of the U.S. national team members who withdrew from competition this year.
Just for this competition, Amanda is sorely missing from this meet. She's a 3-time World Championship team member, and she will be missed in Sabai, Japan. She's out with a toe injury, but she's not out for the long haul, so she'll be back in action in '96. To link pass a 2.5 twist. A very nice performance. This could take her into that 7th place slot over her teammate right there, Teresa Kulikowski.
Both of them training in Colorado Springs. Teresa put into the 7th place position at the start of the rotation. Donnie, who's named after an uncle Don who passed away at an early age. She needs a 9.55 to place her on the competing squad that's heading to Japan.
Awesome. Every one of you did exactly what you needed to do.
Take a look at her last tumbling pass here. Not as much difficulty, but remember, she's been suffering with this injury. It's a 2.5 twist. A little problem on the landing. Tough to land because it's a blind move, but a pretty performance.
Clearly a moment of high drama as she's awaiting the scores, as are we.
Certainly a look of relief on her face that this competition is over. She really had to slug it out.
And nothing to be disappointed in the routine itself, though the scores may prove a little disappointing. We'll find out in just a moment. And if they're not disappointing for Donnie, they will be disappointing for Teresa Kulikowski. Herself, no slouch in this sport, getting as close as she has. And the judges' marks a 9.65, and yes, that's good enough, placing Donnie Thompson on the World Championship team. So congratulations due to her, as she has earned an airplane ticket. Teresa will go as the alternate. We'll be back with more wrap-up in just a moment. Welcome back to the result page of the McDonald's World Team Trials. Dominique Moceanu eking out the victory over Shannon Miller in the final rotation. This is your final standings and the team that will represent the U.S. at the World Championships in Japan. Our own Kurt Thomas is down on the floor with the great Bella Caroli and his rapidly rising young star.
Well, congratulations, champ. Did you know how close you were going into the last event, 1/1000th of a point?
Yeah, I saw it like after I finished floor, but I didn't know right when I was going into it. So I was ready for floor. I was excited to do it, and then I went out and did it. So
You had a hamstring problem. How did it feel out there?
it was fine. It was warmed up. I kept moving it, and I warmed it up pretty good. And Bella helped, rub it a little bit, and so it was fine.
It seemed like the more the routine went on, the more you just got psyched. Is that the case?
Yeah, it was really fun. I enjoyed it a lot. It was good.
Great, congratulations. Bella, you talked about her not peaking so soon. Will you take it?
Well, unfortunately, we're picking, but I'm very glad. I'm very glad the way how she's competing, and really tonight she showed her personality, which is a fighter, and that was very, very different than I ever experienced before with her. She really turned a tremendous, aggressive athlete, and she showed on the last event, and that was more than I expected. I'm very happy.
You have any new tricks in your bag for when you go over to Japan?
Yeah, we do. We do a very, very interesting combination on the bar, and also we're going to add to the floor routine too.
Well, keep going, guys. You're looking great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Back to John.
And congratulations certainly due to the young Dominique Moceanu. When we return, we'll take a moment to talk with the last athlete to make this traveling squad. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Our coverage of the 1995 McDonald's World Team Trials has been brought to you by McDonald's, the official break of the Olympic Games. And it's all over but the shouting here, folks, as we take a look one more time at the official list of the athletes qualified to represent the United States at the World Championships in Japan later this year. The last member to make this cut, Donnie Thompson, who right now is with our own Kurt Thomas.
Donnie, you just made it. You were on floor exercise the last event. Did you know what you needed to go in?
I knew I just needed to hit my routines because they show the scores and you can't help but look over, so I just knew I had to hit and do my best.
It's kind of tough when you knock your teammate off the ladder there. She's going with you over there as the alternate, but that had to be tough for you. Did you feel like you could pull this out even with your back injury?
Yeah, when it came down to the last event, I knew I could do it. I knew I had to give it a chance, and I'm very pleased with the outcome.
How's the back feeling now?
Well, it's pretty stiff now because of all the routines and stuff we did in the last 2 days, but that's okay because I'm going.
Yeah, making this world team helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, a lot.
So you're going to rest a little bit, or are you guys right into training for the actual competition?
I think we're going to take like a few days off maybe and then start up hard.
All right, well, congratulations, and back to you, John.
Thanks a lot, Kurt. And Mara, as we take a look at the squad that's been assembled, how do you think they'll do at the Japan World Championships?
Well, it's important to realize that the U.S. brought home the silver medal at last year's World Championships without the optionals help of Shannon Miller. This year, Shannon Miller will be there in full force, and a new rising star that we can't deny in Dominique Moceanu. I think the U.S. has an excellent chance of upholding their second-place finish from last year's World Championships.
Now, the U.S. squad's performance at the World Championships will be an indicator to how they're doing heading into the Centennial Olympic Games in Atlanta, Georgia. What might we expect as a result of what we've seen here?
Well, I think with the talent and depth that they have, it looks very good for Atlanta, especially, again, Amanda Borden is missing from this meet, and she will be looking toward the Olympic Games. In terms of polish, experience, and reputation, she will be missed at the World Championships. That is an undeniable fact. But I think in Atlanta, there's a chance for gold.
Now, Dominique Moceanu does not have a lot of international competition, but on the basis of what we saw here, could she be the next Mary Lou Retton?
She is a fighter. I am so impressed with her. A fierce competitor, so much talent, so much personality. I have no doubts in my mind that she could be the next Mary Lou, especially on the home turf in Atlanta.
Exciting competition and great results here in Austin, Texas, aside to the selection of the 1995 World Championship team. Be sure to watch tomorrow as we bring you the men's action from the McDonald's World Team Trials from the Longhorn campus in Austin, Texas. For now, though, thanks for joining us here. On behalf of my partners, Mara Driscoll and Kurt Thomas, I'm John Neighbor saying thanks for watching.